welcome back to another episode of our life seasons where we talk about the different seasons of life and how we grow through it. So, in today's episode, as you can see, I'm in a different setup, in a different room, in a total different country. So, I think if you've been following my different episodes, my past few episodes, you will know that right now I'm currently in San Francisco. So, as you're listening to this week, I am actually recording it like 2 days back. So, oh my god, I can't believe I'm here. So, of course, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about how this trip actually came about, how I actually booked it, what happened during this entire trip. I think I've only been here for 3 days. I've lost count, 3, 4 days, but I'm currently still experiencing jet lag. As you can see, like my mind is all over the place, but I'm so freaking excited to tell you guys what I've actually manifested, like how I'm doing, the little updates on the things that's happening here. So before that, I think I hope you can feel I am so happy that I'm actually finally here. There are fears that come about. I think before coming here, I think few days before coming here, I was still, constantly thinking about what's gonna happen, whether it's gonna be safe. Because I can tell you, everyone, like I swear to God, every single one of the people that I talk to, that I'm telling them, that I'm coming to San Francisco alone, the first reaction out of their mouth is, um, are you sure you're going alone? Like, it's so unsafe though. Like, I heard it's so bad, like after COVID. Like, are you sure you want to go alone? Like, it's so dangerous. You have to be careful. So I think all these comments actually got into my head in a sense where I started fearing. So instead of being excited, I started to fear coming here. I started to be scared, like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen? Like, how am I gonna go through the customs? Because I didn't have a great time the first time that I came here for my internship. I didn't have the great time with the customs. And yeah, so I was afraid. Of course, I was scared. But at the same time, I know that there will be a side of me that is gonna enjoy this. There will be a side of me that genuinely wants to come here. Because, okay, I kind of sidetrack a bit, but back to the very first start of how did this trip come about? Why did I decide to go San Francisco out of so many places in the world? So first of all, for context wise, I actually did a 1 year internship in San Francisco in 2018 to 2019. So, but that trip was a little bit different because I had friends with me. It was under a school program, and I came here for an internship with a startup company, a tech company in Silicon Valley. So that was that, and I met amazing people in my company, especially my boss back then. Like, he was so good. Like, he was the first one actually to teach me self-development, to teach me on self-growth, and to just allow me to love myself and prioritize my own needs first before actually giving to others. I think that was one of the most important lessons that he has taught me, and I have so much gratitude for him, and I'm so grateful that I get to meet him, to have him as my mentor and my boss. Because I kid you not, he's the most, I don't know, he's the most kind and most giving person that I've ever seen. Like, he gives without expecting anything, and he's just genuinely so good. Like, he has such a big heart, and I really look up to him for that. And he's someone that, don't play mind games. He don't play mind games with you. He's just genuinely happy to be, be having friends, and to just be in this life in general. Like, you can see that he actually do enjoy his life. And I would say that that was the first time that made me felt like, oh, the difference between, the culture in Singapore and the culture in the States is that people are just so much more approachable. They're so much nicer. They take the time out of the day to, check in on you, to make sure that you're doing fine, to make sure that, that you're having a great day. So I feel like that's something that I don't, at least for me, I don't experience it in Singapore. And yeah, just a huge difference. So he was the first person that I actually felt like, oh, it's not so bad after all. Because when I first came here, I was scared shitless. I was even worse than I am now. Like, I was someone that was just, your typical, like, okay, I'm just gonna finish this internship, get good grades, and then graduate, and hopefully go to university, and then get a work, get a job, and then get married, have kids, blah blah blah. But that trip in 2018 to 2019 really changed my life. And I don't say this lightly, because I feel like I've become such a different person coming back. And while I was there, so while I was here, not there, while I was here, like going through, I was 18 turning 19 back then, and you can imagine like the amount of difference that he has made, that's impacted my life within a short period of 1 year. Even though you may say that, some people may think that 1 year is really short, but some people may think that 1 year is really long. But trust me, 1 year can do a lot of things to you. Especially for me, I have changed so much in terms of like my mindset wise. Go I've found out like what I actually truly enjoy and love other than designing. I truly enjoy self growth, personal development, anything that is related to wellness mindset in general, right? So that was when I dive deeper into this whole concept of like, improving yourself and how to navigate through life. That was the first time that I started to live on my own without my parents. I started to really just get to know myself more. And that was when I started YouTube. I started creating content. I started to put myself out there a little bit more, because I think the good thing about being in a foreign country where no one else knows you is that you have this courage out of nowhere. I kid you not, like I had this courage. I don't know where that came from. I decided to do all sorts of things that I wouldn't do back in Singapore, because in Singapore I think I would be afraid that, oh, my friends would judge me. They would think that I'm an influencer wannabe, like I'm a YouTuber wannabe, that who does she think she is, that she can make it, blah 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 blah. And all these judgments, of course, they're in my mind, right? Like, I'm not saying that there are people that told me this, that, oh, who are you to start a YouTube channel. In fact, like, a lot of people are actually shocked and surprised, and they're really supportive of what I was doing. And it gave me so much courage that to know that I can sit with this fear and just run with it. And it's so much fun to just run with it and be like, I don't care, like I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do. And I created this identity, this version of me that was so shocking to everyone and even to myself. Up to today, when I look back, I'm like, where did she have the guts to do all that? I was literally creating content on YouTube of like, how do you create content in how do you create 30 days worth of content in a day, how I was creating my content, how I went for photo shoots that I kind of booked myself just for the sake of it, just for, not for the sake of it, I mean, for the content, right? And I really do enjoy photo shoots. I do enjoy being my photos being taken. And it's just the whole planning part that I really do enjoy. And then being able to bear the fruits of your labor after that, looking at the photos, is just amazing. And I was reaching out to people, like to photographers on Instagram, and to ask if they want to work together so that they can build their portfolio while I actually have photos taken. So it was like a win-win situation, and you'd be so surprised that the people here, they are just so open to opportunities like that, because I think everyone is just out there trying to live the best life that they can, and everyone's mentality is kind of on the same frequency, whereby money is not king, right? They just want to live a good time and just have fun. So I think that was the thing that kind of made me realize that, oh, I'm such a different person here in San Francisco than I am in Singapore. And looking back, there are so many things that have changed. I keep saying this, but there really has been so many things that have changed, and I've always wanted to come back. After coming back from San Francisco, back to Singapore, I've always wanted to go back, and I knew that things would be different when I go back. As crazy as it sounds, like honestly, I am so different to a point where I feel like I can't really fit in the culture of Singapore, even though I was born and raised in Singapore. It's so funny how Singapore becomes not doesn't feel like my home anymore. It just feels like, I'm temporarily in this country where I need to be because my friends and family are there. But my soul is just always somewhere else. It's always traveling, it's always in San Francisco. So yeah, that's the thing. Like, I've always wanted to come back, and I've made a promise to myself that when I come back, and if I do come back, I want it to be an upgrade, whether or not it's physically, mentally, anything materialistically wise, whatever it is. I just want it to be an upgrade, and I promise myself that I will come back in a better place. I will come back in a better position, and just different. And then COVID hit, all the typical stuff happened, and I didn't expect myself to be here right now in 2023 September, enjoying the fall season in San Francisco alone for 3 weeks, 21 days. I'm not kidding. Like, even though I booked the trip and everything, it came so sudden. I booked this trip out of intuition. Like, one day, I don't know what I was doing, but I think I was just sitting in front of my computer and I was just searching for flights, right? Because I always wanted to travel, but I just didn't know where to go. And I always felt like I wasn't ready to come back to San Francisco just because it was still a very scary part in my life whereby it's so far away from Singapore. It's like 16-hour flight, and I don't know how I was gonna be like, if I come alone and how things were like. Because first of all, I can't sleep alone or I can't sleep in the dark because it's just one of my fears. And being away from my home means and solo traveling means I have to sleep alone, right? I have to be comfortable alone. And that was something that I've been working on back, I think this whole entire year prior to me coming here. And I can say that I've never expected myself to be able to sleep like a baby alone. And that was what I did for the past few days. I'm not sure, is it because of, me being jet lagged, or I'm just so tired. But at the end of the day, I still get my beauty sleep, so that's fine, right? If you guys are hearing like noises, it's actually just like the cable car passing by. I can't help it, but this is just San Francisco. It's just part of San Francisco, and I'll go into it I will explain it further later. So, like I mentioned, 5 years later, I'm here right now, and I booked this trip because just purely based on intuition, and I just felt like it's about time. I don't know why, but I just felt like it was time, and I should just book it. So I did. Like I look at the flight tickets, it was on sale. Not really on sale, but there was a promotion going on. And guess what? That promotion was actually so good that I decided to book, instead of an economy flight, I decided to book a premium econ. And that was my first upgrade. And all this didn't hit me until I've booked everything and nearer to date. I sat down and started thinking like, oh my god, yeah, this was the promise that I made myself, that I was gonna come back as an upgraded version of myself, whether or not it's physically, mentally, or like just materialistically. It happened. I didn't know, I didn't think of it. I didn't book a premium economy flight thinking that, oh, I need to fulfill this, but it just came because it just made sense, right? Like the price points and everything just made sense to me, like it was within my budget. So that was the first. And then things just happen. I haven't booked my Airbnb because I felt like it was still far away. Because back then when I was booking, I think it was only in April. Yeah, I booked it in April, so there was still some time left to before I booked my Airbnb. But I was still on the constant search of what Airbnbs that are out there and how much it was going to cost me to stay 21 days in San Francisco, because I know that it was going to be costly. It's not cheap in the city area. So I have a few criterias, or rather I have a few, I would say, standards of my own, like how I want my Airbnb to look like, or how I want my stay to look like. So a couple of things were, I needed it to be near the city because I don't want to be traveling by BART. It's scary, okay? Like the BART here is like Singapore's MRT, and it's so different here because there are like homeless people. The homeless people here are like, higher. Of course, in Singapore, you don't really see any, but here it's very common. And they do get in like the BART stations, or just the BART in general, and it's honestly scary. The first time that I actually took it was in 2018 or 2019, I forgot, but I was so scared because it was just so foreign to me, right? And I swear that I would never ever take BART ever again, but I did. Like I think on my second day here, like for this trip, I did. So anyways, I didn't want to travel too far away, so staying in the city just made sense. And then I was like, okay, fine. Like I will stay in the city, right? But I know that it was gonna come with a cost. So what else do I want? I was like thinking that, okay, I want a room that is great, that is amazing, that I just want it to be, yeah, just nice and modernized, and I just feel at home here. And of course, it would be great if I have a view. I initially wanted to have a sea view, which is near the Golden Gate Bridge. I found an Airbnb that was like that, but back then I think the dates were off. Like oh my god, my nose is so itchy. But anyways, the dates were off and I couldn't book it. So I was like, oh my god, it's such a nice apartment. It was such a nice, good, great Airbnb with amazing view, and yeah, just something about it. I just didn't want to book it, so I was like, okay, fine, I'm not gonna book it, right? So I dragged on and on and on till I think 2 weeks before my trip. Was like, okay, I really need to start booking my Airbnb, and then um I was constantly searching, but none of it hits. Like it was within my budget, but it was far away from the city. It means I have to take bus to the city if I were to travel to the city, right? And I was like, okay, maybe not. So I started looking more towards like the city and see what's there around here. And every single one of them was so expensive. It was out of my budget that I felt like, yeah, I don't know. It was just too much for me at the time, even though I was still working on my money mindset and stuff like that. But, it's fine to say that you have a budget and you don't want to go past it, right? So I was constantly trying to find ways to get, a stay that I was satisfied with that just felt good until I remembered searching on YouTube, finding, people who are solo traveling and what they are doing, which hotels they are staying in San Francisco itself. And I remember seeing this particular YouTuber. I think she was doing like a vlog of her day in San Francisco, and I saw this hotel that she was staying was amazing. So I commented like under her video and I was like asking what hotel was it. And then she said, oh, it was, this hotel. And I think it was a few months back. Like I wasn't even planning on anything. I was just like, oh, okay, that's good to know. It was a good to know thing. And then I was searching and searching, and I saw, oh my god, this is the exact same hotel that I asked, and it was the exact same hotel that she stayed. So when I was looking through the prices, I was like, wait, because I was staying for 21 days, they do actually have this I think this offer or this promotion that was going on, because if you stay for longer than a week or something like that. And the room was amazing. The room is so modernized. This exact room right now that I'm staying is so modernized. It felt so much like home, like an apartment. And it was just, yeah, it's just amazing. But her view was not good. And I was like, oh my god, I might be getting the same exact view, and it's just bad. But the room is so nice, etc. Right? So I just decided to book this hotel, and this was the last room. I kid you not, this was the last room. I remember still contemplating because it was slightly over my budget, just slightly. But I was like, you know what? It's in the it's right smack in the city. It's in Powell Street, and I kid you not, like the trams are literally around here, and I could walk to anywhere and everywhere. When I look at the maps, I was just so shocked at how close it is to everything. So it means I can technically walk around, and I don't have to take the bus, right? So that was something that I actually preferred. And but I was still contemplating. I don't know why, but I was still contemplating, and I was like, maybe I could find a better one. Maybe I could find a better one. And then I decided to ask the universe for a sign. So I was like, okay, so if I'm meant to actually book this hotel, and if this hotel is meant for me, can I see a duck within the next 24 hours? I don't know why or where did this duck come from, but I just wanted to have an answer, right? So I think few hours passed. I was just scrolling through TikTok, and I saw this video that popped up. It was like a dog with a lot of like ducklings around that dog. And I was like, oh my god, like this is my sign. Okay, so I'm gonna book it. But even though the sign came, I was still doubting. I don't know why, but I was just like, maybe not, right? And until I remember that was at like 4 p.m. And then when I ended work at 6:30 p.m., my mom picked me up, and I was telling her about all this. Like, I really wanted to stay at this hotel, but I'm not sure because the price point is a little bit higher. And then she's like, just book it. And I'm like, okay, fine. Like, fine. I asked the universe for a sign. The universe gave me a sign. So I might as well just booked it, right? So I was like, okay, fine. So I went onto my phone and I started like putting in the details and all the credit cards and stuff like that. And I realized that the price point dropped. I think because it was the last room. So it was cheaper than what I thought it was going to be. And it fit in my budget like perfectly. And I was like, no, you must be kidding me. So of course I had to book it. So I booked it, and everything felt so great. I was like, oh my god. So that was why there was this delay, because the delay actually allowed me to have the last room and also a discount on that. And on top of that, they were gonna give me like a 30% off dining voucher or something like that. So I was like, oh my god, like okay, like everything is flowing, it's fine. And then fast forward, I just kind of live my life as per normal. I was still very excited about this trip. I was telling everyone and anyone that I can that, oh my god, I'm going back to San Francisco. I can't believe it. I don't know, why it came so sudden, but I just felt like it was time. And then fast forward to 2 weeks, no, 2 days before I fly, I don't know what, I was still looking at Airbnbs because I was so scared. I was like, oh my god, because I tendered my resignation I think 1 week or 2 weeks before my trip. And now I'm serving my notice. But I don't know, I just felt like I was back into this scarcity mindset of, oh my God, what if I don't have enough money to pay for this trip? What if I don't have enough, right? And I had to pull myself out of this situation and be like, look, you will always be taken care of. You will always, always be taken care of. So just relax. Everything will happen for you for a reason. And that it doesn't help to panic, right? And I didn't want to open inverted ruin this trip just because of the situation that I was in. I made the decision to come here and I know that the universe is going to take care of whatever that is, the rest of the things, that I can't control. So my job is to just have fun. My job is to just follow my intuition, and that was what I did. So fast forward, I decided to just leave it be. I have to focus on like my work and also to pack and to get to the airport because my flight was very early in the morning. It was a 9 a.m. flight. So everything was just flowing. I packed and stuff like that. I packed within a day. I flew to the airport. I mean, I went to the airport. When I was boarding and everything, I sat down and I'm like, this is it. Like, oh my God, I'm flying. I can't believe this. Like, it hit me all at once. And I got a little emotional because I didn't expect, this version of me to be traveling alone. I didn't expect myself to really be okay and just take the leap of faith and just do things alone. Because like I mentioned, going from not being able to have a proper meal and simple meal alone, like eating out alone, to traveling alone and having to do everything alone is insane. Like even though I have like, I know I'm gonna be meeting my ex boss here, like my intern boss here, but it was just like a day. And the rest of it I'm just gonna be alone, right? And it means I needed to make friends, I needed to be okay even if I don't make any friends or just exploring the city alone. So I knew that this trip I wanted to come to just kind of get a feel of things and see whether it's possible for me to eventually move here or migrate here or somewhere near. And this when I came here it was, yeah, so okay, let me just go it by order. Okay, so anyway, I was in the airport and then I went into the flight and I was looking for my seat and I was like, oh my God, like this seat is amazing, it's huge. Like if you guys were to go and look at like my personal Instagram, I have a whole entire highlight. I think it's SFO. It basically sums up my whole entire like trip. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have like a second highlight, but the current one, the first highlight that I have is all on like my trip, like how big this. You could go and see how big the space is, how my room looks like. It was amazing. So even though I was traveling there, most of the time, okay, not most, but sometimes when I was in a flight, because it was 16-hour flight, right? I had a lot to think. I had a lot of time to think. So as I was sitting there, I was wondering, like, oh my God, like, will I be able to check in early? Because my flight is gonna reach SF at I think 9:30, if I'm not wrong, or 9:20 in the morning, and I'm only able to check into my hotel at 3 p.m. That was like a huge difference in terms of like the time that I have on hand. So I actually, prior to me coming, I actually did email this hotel and ask, like, if I'm able to leave my stuff here and just walk around if the room is not ready. So they said that they don't have a storage area, and mind you, I was carrying like a 28-inch luggage and a small 26 or 22-inch luggage. I forgot what the inches was, but it's a small one and a huge one. So to be lugging this around the streets, and which I don't even know how it has changed over the past 5 years. I'm not sure it was safe. I'm not sure if I was strong enough to carry all this with me and just walk around to have a meal. And that was ridiculous. And I was like, oh my, I was panicking. I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do if I don't have a room to stay? Blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh shit. Like I was so scared. And then they told me that I could actually rent out a storage area just across the street. And I'm like, rent out a storage area? What do you mean? Like you don't have a storage area and it's just everything just kind of feels like it was falling apart. And I was like, no, like what am I gonna do? So I was like, okay, you know what? There was no point panicking because all they could do was to tell me that, if they would have a seat, then yeah, I mean not seat. What am I talking about? If they would have like a room, then they would actually put me in the room. If not, I gotta figure it out. So I was like panicking, but at the same time, I was like, you know what, fine. Let me just try to manifest this whole entire situation to become like, to whatever happens is gonna happen for me. So I trusted and I literally prayed and prayed. I was like, okay, please let me. I journaled in during like my flight, and I was like, okay, I scripted how it was gonna be like. So I said, like, the trip was smooth, like I passed through the customs smoothly, and I came to the city area smoothly. There was a room available for me. I went in there, the room was amazing, there was beautiful view, like I just felt at home, everything just fits perfectly and nicely. So I scripted it, I closed it because we were about to land. So when we landed, I go through customs. I was scared, but I mean, come on, the customs people, like the people working there, the officers weren't exactly the nicest people on earth. But I would say that, I managed to get through it and then pass through multiple like securities. Hectic, crazy, scared, yeah, as per usual. And then when I reached there, like I booked an Uber, and then the Uber driver couldn't find me because there was like a 2 level thing and stuff like that. So on his app, the location put a departure. On my app, it put arrival. So of course we were at like different levels, and I was like panicking. I was like, oh my god, like do they have like this late fee thing, and like how, like, is he gonna cancel on me? How am I gonna find blah 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 blah? And then I had issues with my SIM card because I couldn't activate it for God knows what reason. And the activation, after trying to activate it, it only was able to activate on the 18th of September, and I touched down on the 16th. So I had 2 days without data, and that was insane, right? I couldn't let that happen. So I quickly bought a eSIM on Shopee and tried to make shit work. And it did. Okay, so after all this hectic thing, and then the Uber didn't came, and I was constantly like contacting the Uber, and he was so nice. He was like, no, don't worry, don't worry. Let me, get to you. So we finally met. He took both my luggages so I could return like the trolley thing, and he was so nice. Like we had such an amazing time, like going from the airport to this hotel. I think it was a 20 minutes drive and a little bit of traffic, so it was like 30 minutes. So he was talking to me, he was like asking, like, oh, how's your flight, like, are you tired? I'm sure you're tired. And we were just having such a great time talking to each other, and then we exchanged Instagrams because, yeah, he was just amazing. Like someone that is so amazing, and I felt so at home because he made me feel at home. He made me feel like, I grew up here, and he was like talking to me about how life has been after COVID, and we are just having amazing conversations. And then he told me that because in San Francisco, like the way the roads are, sometimes it's only one way street, right? And my hotel was here. Let's just say my hotel was at the other side, and then he couldn't get past the other side to put me to my hotel just because how the roads were made. So I started to panic again. I was like, oh my god, like, am I gonna be lugging 2 luggages and trying to find my hotel? And he was like, oh no, don't worry, like, don't worry. I was thinking of that, I didn't say it out, but he was like, oh, don't worry, I'll get you there. Like, I'm not gonna just leave you with 3 luggages. That's not what I'm gonna do. He's like, you just got off a flight, a long flight, so I'm gonna help you. Don't worry, we'll figure it out. And I was like, yes, we will figure it out, and it will always be figured out. So he parked his car and he grabbed like my luggages, and he got me to my hotel safely. He made sure I got into the entrance and everything. And I saw that the hotel had this, the door wasn't a door whereby anyone could go in. It was a door that you could only enter with the card, or the people have to actually open it for you. So I felt like, oh, okay, actually this was quite safe. Like this security part of things, I appreciated it. And I was like, okay. So what happened was, I went in and they were like, oh, check-in is only available at 3 p.m. I was like, oh my god, yes, I understand, but I do know that it was subject to availability. So could you probably, check to see if there was a room for me available and stuff like that. So she checked, she took my name, she was checking, and I was like, oh my god, please. So she came back and she was like, yeah, we have a room ready for you. And I was like, oh my god, thank god, yay. Like I was so happy. I was like, oh my god, like my manifestation works. I was relieved. I was like, okay, I don't have to, think about where I was gonna go, because I was honestly really tired. I couldn't sleep much during the flight, just because of, even though the seats were comfortable, but I just couldn't because of the time difference and stuff like that. So I came in the room, I opened the door, and I was like, no way. The view, like I'm literally looking at the view right now. It's amazing. Like look at my Insta story if you have not. The view is just amazing. Like I didn't want to actually face a wall, because in the YouTube video, back to the girls video, I saw that hers was facing, I think, the back of a building, and it was just so sad. Like it felt like almost as if you were in prison, in a sense where you don't really have much view. And when I came in, I saw the windows and it was facing the streets, and I'm like, oh, I couldn't ask for more. Like this is amazing. I felt immediately when I came in this room, I felt like it was there was so great like vibes. I love every single thing. I love how huge the room is. I love the bathroom. It's amazing. And because I think I accidentally, okay, not accidentally, but I booked a room that was I think it was an accessibility room whereby it's more for, people with I think it was like a handicap room or something, people with needs. So I was like, okay, it's yeah, like I get it. It's huge because you obviously they actually prepared it in a sense whereby you're able to, push in wheelchairs and stuff like that in it. So I was glad to actually have this room, and I was like, oh my god, it is amazing. I have a proper work desk here. And yeah, it just felt so good, so great. I called my mom immediately and I was telling her all about my manifestations. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't expect this. Like the room view was a bonus. And yeah, like the people were nice and everything else. And then she was like, oh, I'm so glad that you actually reached. And I crashed after that because I was so tired. And I woke up for dinner, and that was the first time I actually walked in the streets to get food. So coming here, like I mentioned, everyone was telling me that, it's going to be so dangerous. But I kid you not, and don't be surprised that there are actually more police officers out there patrolling as compared to when I remembered I was here in 2018, 2019, that there were more homeless people around the streets. It was a little bit more unsafe. But surprisingly, after COVID, I don't know why, but there are a lot more police patrolling, and there aren't as many homeless people that there are still, of course, like some here and there, but it wasn't as crazy as I thought it was gonna be. Because what I don't know, like the fear that got to me, it felt like it was gonna be like a freaking zombie apocalypse where everyone was just out there and trying to get to you, and it was just you gotta protect yourself, this and that. And I realized that, all these fears are actually all in my mind. Like people tell me things and I actually took on. And it's so funny because these people have not been to San Francisco. They've only heard or seen things that are on the news. So they've not necessarily been, even though they've been to San Francisco, it was pre-COVID a few years back. So I mean, I do get it. Like people are concerned, people are worried about me, and I appreciate that a lot. But I think coming here, I realized that, sometimes it made me realize that sometimes you don't have to take on whatever fear that people have, because ultimately I'm the one that's coming here. Ultimately, I would know like how to take care of myself, and I know that I'm able to navigate my way through certain things, and just to know when it's a little bit more dangerous, or like safety stuff like that, that makes total sense, right? It's common sense. So I was so shocked, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, it actually felt good just walking around getting stuff, and that's what I've been doing for the past couple of days. And I feel like I'm taking it more slow now. Like I don't have a proper like itinerary to like where I want to go, like waking up at what time, and just forcing myself to wake up because I'm still adjusting to the time zones. And I would say because I'm still working, like this week, this whole entire week, I'm still working a 9 to 5 in Singapore time. So Singapore 9:30 is when I start work, right? It's 6:30 p.m. here. So when I start work, it's basically nighttime here. So I would go all the way to 3:30 a.m. PDT time. And yeah, like doing this is a little bit more tiring, but I also allow myself to rest a lot more. I told myself that it's okay, like you can actually have 2 weeks to explore the city and to get your body clock back to this PDT time and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I wasn't as hard up about wanting to explore everything or trying to force something out of me, because honestly I just wanted to go with the flow. And I just want to, this whole trip I told myself that I want to just feel like a local, I want to live like a local, right? So I wasn't gonna be like a tourist, because majority of things I've been to, like the typical Golden Gate Bridge, the Fisherman's Wharf, stuff like that I've been to. I would love to go again. Of course, I will be going again, but it's not my main priority, and try to squeeze everything out. Because I feel like a lot of times when people are traveling, and that's just my preference, yeah. That's just my preference. When a lot of times people are traveling, they would actually want to like make full use of the time. So they would set a time to wake up early, to travel here and there, to just be walking around the whole entire day till nighttime. Then you come back and then you make full use of it, right? But for me, I felt like there's no point in trying to make myself be productive or to make full use of this trip when I literally have 21 days to enjoy. And the first week was just meant for me to, get over my work stuff and just have time alone after that. So that was fine. And honestly, because the hotel room is so, so, so amazing, that I felt like home, and I just wanted to stay in my hotel for majority of the time. And I just felt safe here, and I just felt comfortable here, and I just wanted to, because there's a TV here, so I just wanted to just lay around and watch Netflix. And that was what I wanted, and that was what I went with. And I have no regrets, because honestly it has been a very great amazing past couple of days so far, and I know that something's amazing is gonna come, and there has to be a reason why I decided to go on this trip, right? So this trip has actually taught me a lot on having confidence in myself, because even though it's only been 3-4 days, I've actually been so confident about, you know, where I'm walking and just navigating through the streets and being able to protect myself. I felt like, oh, this confidence was something that I thought I didn't have. And because I used to always rely on people, I used to always rely on um you know, my ex partners to navigate life for me, and I just was ignorant in a sense. But now to be taking on that responsibility and to take care of myself, because I'm only here like alone, and knowing that, you know, I will have a good time, trusting my abilities and capabilities to navigate the whole city, or where I want to go, or how, you know, I'm gonna order and stuff like that, to ease myself into this culture again is so different. So the first no second day, the second day that I touched down, which was on the Sunday, I had you know, a lunch. I had lunch with my ex boss, which is my intern boss, and I kid you not, the lunch session was so amazing. Even though I was jet lagged, it didn't look like it didn't feel like it. He was like telling me like, oh my god, you don't even look like you're, you know, jet lag. Like, you look like you're just fine. And I'm like, honestly, I am. Like, I'm surprised myself that, you know, I'm actually okay. Because we had lunch and I had to take the BART from the city area outside. I mean, a couple of stops, like 4 stops outside of the city, to actually have to go to this really lovely brunch area. And I catch up with him, I think 5 years worth of stuff. So it was amazing. And he was like, it's so funny because the conversation was so wholesome, where he was like telling me, we were talking a lot about wellness mindset stuff, and it was something that, a topic that I really loved, and a topic that he really loved as well, but we have never actually really dived deeper into it when we first met in 2018, 2019. So only this time around, I think I was more mature, and, you know, he felt like he was able to, I don't know, like, have these conversations with me. So we were talking about, you know, how my version of life is, how my vision of life is, and how his vision of life is, and it's really similar. And he was like telling me how, you know, he always felt that I was someone that was, you know, that would be able to navigate through anything. And to hear him say that, it was so sweet and it was so shocking. And it was as if, like, you know, he acknowledged this side of me, whereby, you know, I'm doing okay, I'm doing great. So he was like telling me that, yeah, like, I've always been this person that is so mature for my age, and he's always seen me as someone that is constantly pushing through, and I'm very determined to do the things that I want to do. And he was like saying how, you know, he feels like I fit perfectly in this culture. It feels like, you know, I'm a resident here, and it's so nice to hear that. He was like, why don't you just move here? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm considering, but it's not something that I've, you know, set in stone yet. So it's still something that is back in at the back of my mind. But to hear him say that, it's like, oh yeah, maybe I really should just consider moving here. So he was like, we had a great chat, and then he drove me back into the city area, which was really sweet of him. And yeah, so that was that. And I felt like the whole entire day was just so fulfilling, because we had such great conversations. Like I mentioned, the conversations were really, really amazing. And I posted a photo of us. Like, we took a photo and I posted it on my Instagram. So every single updates that you want to see of my life in San Francisco after this podcast, or whatever before this, please head on to my personal Instagram to just go and take a look at the highlights. Okay, it's everything is just there. You can see how amazing it is and how I've been living life. So that was how it was. And then I came back. I'm not sure if it was the same day or the day later. I think it was the same day that I took an Insta story of just, you know, me, because I just felt so happy. And then the sunlight was just hitting in the room, and I was like, oh my god, this is such great lighting, why not do a selfie? So I was just taking photos of myself and stuff like that, and I decided to post one onto Instagram. And then it's so funny how my mentor, she actually DM me, and she was like, oh my god, you look so happy, like, why don't you just move there? And I'm like, funny you said that, because I literally just heard that from my ex intern boss, and it was just so funny. Like, oh my god, like, I don't know how, like, all these synchronicities in life, and I'm like, yeah, I maybe should really just live here. And I was like saying, I don't know what about San Francisco, but I think it's just the San Francisco air that makes me so happy. Because I think the caption I put, like, mood in SF 24/7, like, I was honestly really happy being here. And then a couple of hours later, my aunt actually DM'd me as well, and she's like, "Oh my god, like you look so beautiful, like you're glowing." Like because prior to that, like my ex intern boss Chris, I realized I haven't even said his name yet. Chris, he was like telling me, "Oh my god, like I can see that you're glowing, like you know things are looking amazing for you and stuff like that." And I was like, "I'm glowing, like really? I feel so jet lagged." And he was like, "Oh my god, but you're glowing, like you're so happy." And I'm like, "Wait, so this is when I realized that people actually see stuff that you don't see." And it's amazing how the environment can change you, you know, like they always say it's never about the flower or the plant or the flower, but it's about the environment that you know she's in, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's so true, because literally like putting me in Singapore and putting me here, like you can see that there's a huge difference in terms of my mindset and my mood and you know things like that, and it translates into your reality, like how you know act and how you view yourself. It's so different because over here I feel like I can be myself again, and I can finally breathe. I don't know why, but I just feel like I can finally breathe and everything's gonna work out just fine. And funny enough, I feel like I fit in here better because of like the people that has the same mindset and stuff like that. So he was like, so I think I ended the conversation with Chris in the sense that he was like, you never know what's gonna happen, and I'm so excited to see, and I know that it's not gonna be your last time here. And I'm like, for sure, like this is not gonna be my last time here. So I know I babble on and on for quite some time, but but basically what I want to say is that you know this is a little update of how I am now in San Francisco. It's still very early start of you know my trip, but I just want to say that I'm super happy to be able to manifest this hotel room, this view, checking in early and everything else. And I'm like, and even upgrading, you know, my flight coming here. And I swear to God, like that upgrade was so worth it, and it was like amazing, just amazing. I could only use one word to like to explain it if I have to, and it's simply magnificent. It's dynamite. I don't know. Like honestly, I really don't know. I just love who I am here and how I feel here, and just yeah, people here are just so great. The atmosphere, the environment here is just so great. The weather is amazing. It's cold but not too cold, and it's still you know sunny. It's not gloomy at all. So I hope that when I go to the Golden Gate Bridge, it's not gonna be foggy. Okay, that's something that I'm manifesting. It's not gonna be foggy. It's gonna be great weather, and I've heard from Chris that I came at the right time. That it was a pretty good season to be in September and also going to October. So yeah, and it's surprisingly the same exact time that I actually came here in 2018, 2019. So yeah, and it's also the same exact time that my parents came. So yeah, how funny things actually work. But anyways, like I mentioned, I feel like this trip is gonna change me a lot even more. Right now I would say that I'm still in my little comfort zone, but I feel like soon I'm probably gonna be pushed out of my comfort zone and try to you know navigate things in life. And yeah, like I'm so happy to be here, and I hope that you know uh this is a little bit unlike like the previous few episodes, because I know in the previous few episodes there's a topic that we're going to be talking about, and you know just life lessons that I can actually tell you guys about, share some wisdom. But over like in today's episode, it's just me updating my life and how I've actually manifested, you know, this trip, and how I'm gonna be continuing to manifest and dabble a little bit more into manifestations and see what things, you know, what I can manifest with, like I mentioned in a few episodes, with this really happy and just, you know, let's see what can happen mode. Cause I think that's the best way that you can actually manifest. And yeah, I'm so happy to be here. If not, I've not said it. If I've not said it for like 1,000 times, I'm still gonna continue to say it. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so freaking grateful to be here, and just to see what this 21 days can do to me. And I know that I will be going back with a very different mindset, with a very different concept of life and the things that I've just learned. And I know that, you know, this trip is gonna change me so much internally as well as externally. I'll be glowing hopefully, and surprisingly my skin is not acting up here, because the previous time that I was here it was so dry that I had like dry patches around my skin. But now, because I'm taking care of my skin more, I'm doing skincare routine every single night, every single day, and I think yeah, my skin is also doing better. When you're feeling better, everything just feels better and amazing. So yeah. And another thing I just want to point out, I don't know why every single time that I'm here, and I love iced caramel macchiato from Starbucks, right? And whenever I order like a cold drink here, I don't know why it always comes to me in the hot version. I don't know why. Like I literally just went to Starbucks to get like caramel macchiato, and I said iced caramel macchiato, and it came out like hot, and I'm like, for real? Like in 2018, 2019, it did the same thing, and now I'm here in 2023 and it still is like that. Like, why? I clearly said ice, but you know what? It's okay because it's cold here, so I appreciate a hot cup of coffee. So yeah, it's just hilarious. I'm not complaining, but it's just hilarious how things are just happening, like, but anyways, I've babbled on enough, long enough, and I feel like this was a good episode to just kind of update you guys on where I am and how I am doing. I'm doing very well. Obviously, I'm very happy. So I hope to be able to have more updates for you guys. But in the meantime, like I mentioned, if you want to follow me on my journey in San Francisco for 21 days, then keep a lookout for my Instagram. I'll try to post every single day, but there are days that I'm just not doing anything. Like yesterday, I literally woke up at 2:30 p.m. and I have to literally start work at 6:30 p.m. So I only had 4 hours to, go out and grab some stuff. So I grabbed a sandwich and just jamba juice, and I was back at the hotel just doing stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna take it slow this first week. So it's not gonna be much of an exciting or major shift and stuff like that. But next week onwards, I think this Friday onwards and another week, I will be traveling around and it's gonna be more exciting than ever. So yeah, like I hope you guys actually enjoy updates like that and just follow me on my journey to see how things have been turning out for me. And I hope that through my episodes like that, I hope to inspire you to actually go travel around to see the world. If there's a particular country that you want to go to, that your heart is dying for you to go to, just go. Take a week off or however long you need. Even though if it's like 4 days, 5 days, just go. Dabble your feet into, tap your feet into cold waters and just try anything and everything. Because honestly, life is too short for you to just sit there and start um hoping and wishing that you can do certain things, but just not have the courage or not do it for whatever reason that is holding you back. So I hope that you guys will be able to continue chasing after your dreams and navigate life with me. And yeah, so I hope to see you in the next episode next week, where I'll probably be a different background, because I'm actually hoping to record one of these episodes in the park for just a different environment change. And yeah, so I'll see you in the next one.